Hi, everybody. Welcome to our third Fashion Sewing Live and third time's the charm. No technical difficulties. I started streaming on time, so we have got it nailed down for the year, and I'm so excited to pick out different projects every month to do this. It's just so much fun, and you never know what's going to happen. So today, I'm going to sew a woven top. The past two lives, I've sewn a knit. So I have my there we go. I have my serger all thread up. You can see on the other screen over at my cutting table, I have this beautiful daisy bubble crepe, and I'm going to sew our oyster wrap top designed by Kimberly Payne for Sew News. And I feel like it's just this perfect silhouette, fabric fit for this time of year where it's not totally warm enough to go full short sleeve, at least outside, but it still has that like springy, summery feeling. I've been saving this fabric for so long. I like moved with it, and I've just been wondering what to do. And I have enough left over to sew a little bias cut skirt, so I'm going to sew that after. But let's go ahead and get started. And please, if you're joining in, just pop a question or a comment, or just if you're sewing with me, tell me what you're sewing, and we'll just have fun for the next hour, and you can watch me sew. All right, I'm going to head over there and pin my first step. All right. Oh, and I'm wearing my Zadie jumpsuit today. Sometimes I feel like I get hot doing these lives. I have like extra lights on and the iron, so I thought I'd keep it cool today. Okay. So I'm popping over here, and the first step, let's see. So I have everything. I have all of my facings already interfaced. So there's the two facings for the neckline, the front neckline. I just have some lightweight fusible interfacing that I just pre-did, as well as the back facing. And now this pattern also calls for elastic because the bottom and the sleeves are elasticated. And it calls for 1/2 of an inch, but I don't have 1/2 of an inch. I have 3/8 of an inch, so it'll totally work. So just use what you have for sure. So let's see. The first step, we are going to pin the front with along the shoulder. Okay, so we're just going to stitch the shoulder seams. All right, shoulder seam. Over to the back. Repeat, stitch the bodice side seams. Okay, so we're going to stitch the shoulder and the side seams. So what I like to do to maximize the time, I'm going to do as much pinning here as possible, then go to my sewing machine. So I'm going to pin the shoulder and the side seams. So I'm just going to put my sleeve to the side. And I've already pre-serged all my edges because I like to press everything open. So I have my back, I have my front. Okay, and this fabric is like a little tip here. Put my pieces down there. A little tip. This fabric is really hard to tell the right side from the wrong side. It's a very subtle difference. There's a slight sheen. So I just put a piece of tape. You can barely see it, but obviously like I can know it's there. So I always know it's my front. So like this is my right side, this is my wrong side. Like you can barely tell the difference. But I established it, then just put a little piece of tape on there. So I'm going to just lay this like this. Where am I? There we go. Okay. And I am just going to put some pins in my side seam. So I'm going to pin my side seam, just a couple of pins in each. It's not too long of a seam. Then I'm going to do my shoulder seam so I can do as much pinning as possible. And then I can just do as much sewing as possible when I'm already at my machine. And then as I read ahead, I believe that my facings also need to get the shoulder seams, stitched together. So I'm just going to also pin those just to eliminate the back and forth. A little the sewing dance. But I mean, that's how I get my steps in too. So sometimes I don't do it as diligently. Okay, so this is all ready to sew, so I'll just put that aside. And I'm going to take my facings and also get these ready to stitch their side seams. I believe, yes. Oh, I should just fold this. Yeah, so they're going to cross over like that and like this. On this pattern, the bottom of the facings have this shaping for the hem. So these are not the shoulder seams that have this angular edge. The shoulder seams are the straight edge. Okay, now let's go. And this pattern has 5/8 of an inch of seam allowance. So I'm going to stitch at that. And I already have a machine all threaded. I have it for woven medium. Let me just get my facings out of the way first. I'm so used to sewing half of an inch. The difference of sewing at 5/8. There we go. I'll tip this down a little bit. Oh, hi, Sherry Maple. Yeah, in sequin. This top would be so lovely in sequin, for sure. Trying to get a good angle so my hand's not in the way. Here we go. All right, that is one facing. So I feel like some tension on my thread. I might just need to, yeah, I feel like I have it. I'm just going to rethread my machine quick. I just feel not as much give as before. Here we go. Rethread my machine. Oh, there it is. It's caught on the bottom. You know when the thread like loops under the bottom and you have more tension? That sometimes happens to me. There we go. Better. Don't you just love that automatic needle threader? I love that. There we go. I'm going to need to press these open, so I'll just toss them over there. All right, now for the side seams. I usually do anyway pre-serge all of my seams before I sew because I do like to press my allowances open. Oh, this fabric is so cute. Back stitch. Then we move on to our shoulder seam. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see a fun springy print. Oh, you're having a snowy day in Kansas City. Wow. Yeah, it's been really up and down weather here in Ontario for sure. We had a little bit of warmth yesterday. I was able to sit outside for a little bit, but Definitely not spring quite yet, but we don't have any snow on the ground. So my snowman melted that I made. Yeah, it's just nice. I think I'm just done with winter sewing. I'm ready to move on to springy prints. I have some sweater knits that I haven't sewn yet that I got, but I think I'll just save them for next winter because then it's like a new fabric that I can sew with. I got this really cool like chunky. It's like a super chunky sweater knit, and I was gonna make a cardigan with it, but maybe I'll save that as my first sew for next winter. Go. Of course, I picked out like the green thread. I guess for this one, you could use like a white thread or a yellow thread or even a purple thread, but I chose like the dark green background as my thread. Oh, little pin. So weird when you're so used to sewing at a certain seam allowance and then just going a bit thicker, how it's just so different. It's always important to read what seam allowance is in the pattern that they can change. Go. Okay, so I have all my seams sewn. So now I can go back to my pressing station and press them all open. Oh my gosh, like it's already like coming together. I can wear it as a tank almost now. Okay, spin around. Okay, so now, okay, so on the facing, I press those allowances open. Then also along this outer edge, you could just serge finish it, but it indicates to press it the wrong side for like a nice clean finish. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Or I could serge it. I don't know. No, I'll press it. Or I could serge and press it. I'm just going to press this open. You know what? I think I'm just going to serge finish it since it is being like wrapped around the body and folded up. If I have another pressed edge, that's just like a little extra layer of bulk. So I think I'm just going to serge this outer edge, but you could do whatever you want. Like it's just personal preference for me. So I think I am going to take this to the serger and just finish that outer edge. So I'll put it over here. I'll do that when I'm back at that station. So now I'll just press my side seams open. And if you're commenting, I'll read, and when I'm back at that station, I can't quite see. I can't quite see from here. There we go. Oh, I have a thread, actually. My scissors. I really need to get my scissors like around my neck. I'm always wondering where they are. I'm just going to give these quick press open. And I can take that tape off now that indicated my right side because now it's a little bit more obvious. I don't want to like press it onto my fabric by accident. So I'm just going to take off those little pieces of masking tape that I use to indicate the right side because now it's pretty obvious. I'm just Press open my shoulder seam. Sometimes I find a little roll is easy for this. Okay, and then now I feel like, yeah, we finished the facing. So I'm going to keep this bodice here. Once I press it open, I'm going to serge the facing and bring it back here to pin it to the neckline. There we go. So this is ready for the facing. So I will put that aside. Yeah, so this is ready for the facing, and then I will pin the bodice and face side necklines. The lining is okay. So for the facings, I'm using a 3/8 of an inch of seam allowance. Good to know. Okay. So everybody that just joined, hello. Oh, hi, Charlotte. Hello from Florida. It's hot and someone reading. I'm glad I got this. Oh, yeah, definitely do some sewing. Okay, I'm just going to have to turn my back for just 1 second to serge. And my serger's loud because it's the industrial one. So I'm just going to be serging around this entire, the outer edge. There we go. All right, there we go. We have this all serged. Now I can pin it to my bodice. So I'm going to open this up. And the first thing that I always do is just match those shoulder seams. It's just a good landmark that I can just start with and match. So I'm going to do that. Okay, and then I'm just going to work my way down to the bottom. And you can see here where that like little shaping is, and that's when you know that you sewed the facing shoulder seams correctly. So just go up here. Yeah, and so I'm going to stitch this seam at 3/8 of an inch of seam allowance as the pattern indicated. So I love like a wrap top. It's going to be so cute. It's going to be so flowy. Okay, so now I am going to sew this. Okay, 3/8 of an inch. You could totally like bind this edge too. Even if the pattern has a facing, you can totally change it up. Like the Zadie jumpsuit has binding in the front edge. So I mean that's the beauty of sewing. You can totally bind this edge. Or even if you didn't have quite enough fabric to cut a facing or binding, you could just like press it in twice. So do like a double turn. Because facing the binding can eat up extra fabric for sure because of the curved nature of that wrap neckline. And I always, when I come to a shoulder seam, I'm always checking underneath just to make sure that it is remaining open, and I put some pressure on it so it glides under the sewing machine, remaining open. If I went all the work to press it open and finish it, it better remain open when I sew it. Go, reaching my other one. Okay, reaching the end. There we go. Okay, now I believe I'll probably have to grade the allowance and then trim and clip and understitch. I will keep my scissors with me. So let's read next. Trim the seam allowance to 1/4 inch, clip it to the neckline, up to but not through the stitching line, press the allowance towards the facing, and understitch. Sounds like a plan. The garbage near my cutting machine, there we go. So I'll grab my more cutting scissors, and I will just cut this. I will usually use my rotary blade, but I took off my cutting mat. Yesterday, I was pressing something with this felt pad on my cutting mat, and it bubbled. Like, I know that it's you can't put heat on it, but sometimes you just totally forget. Okay, so I'm just cutting this down to about 1/4 inch. I always just make sure I'm not cutting the fabric underneath. Almost there. Okay, now I'm going to do some clips into the neckline. I'll just put a few clips on here. And a little tip that I usually do when pressing a facing to get that edge really crisp, I actually first press this allowance open and then I press it to the facing. I just find it gets super crisp. So I just press it open first. It's hard to. So I'm just going to work along here and press this open. Just something I started doing. Because then when I put it here, it's like already kind of established that press open, and then I press it flat like this, and then I flip it and understitch it. Just one of those little habits that I do. Now I'm going to flip it and press it flat. And sometimes I like to just roll those edges a little bit too. I believe that the facing gets top stitched as well as understitched. Fold the facing to square, stitch the facing, folded outer edge through all layers, securing 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so it does get stitched on the outer. So I'm just going to quickly understitch it, and then I will pin it in place, and then I will do that outer stitch. There we go. Yeah, this edge is looking nice and crisp. I know when you start sewing, you really don't realize how much pressing is involved. So much pressing after every seam, especially for wovens. I actually don't mind pressing. I find it a little therapeutic. I like it. Just interfacing. I don't like adding interfacing. I do add interfacing. I just don't like the act of doing it. It's just once I cut out my project, I just want to get right to sewing it. I don't feel like cutting out interfacing and then just fusing it to the piece. But you just gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this to my machine and understitch it to my facing side. Oh, Kathy, I like to press the facing seam open too. Yes, totally. Every little thing makes a difference. I totally agree. I just love a crisp edge. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a little understitching. There we go. And then again, I always, every couple inches, I just make sure that this is laying on this side, and it's slightly open, but it lays, but it just still makes that edge a little crisp. I also like to pull that seam apart a little bit as well. Almost there. There we go. Oh, of course, I didn't bring my scissors over. Okay, this edge is looking so good. Okay, so now I am going to just give it one last press to the wrong side. Oh yeah, so crisp. And that edge is not going to roll out, so you don't see that understitching. Oh, my iron leaking. Okay, and now I'm going to just pin along this serge seam. So from the right side, I have a guideline to where that edge is, and it keeps it flat, so when I top stitch it, I can keep it nice and even. I need to make my iron a bit hotter. I'm going to turn up the heat a bit. And then when I get to the shoulder seams, I always make sure when I'm folding back my facing, those shoulder seam lines perfectly align. And I usually like to pin those in place. So that makes sure the facing's not like twisting on the wrong side. Oh, this is looking good. Excuse me. Okay, now I am going to top stitch this. So from the right side, I'm going to top stitch this all around here. Oh, I'm really getting like this wrap effect already. It's so cute. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, now I'm going to top stitch it. I'm going to see if there's anything else I can do while I'm here. No, I think it's, let's see. Oh, I don't wrap it until the sleeves are in. Okay, oh yeah, that makes it easier. Okay, so, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to grab my sleeve pieces. Yeah, my scissors. Now I'm just going to laying nice and flat. So I'm just going to pick a line on my plate and just stick to that line, just so it's nice and even. I'm going to take the pins out as I go as well. So I am just like remaining this edge along a plate line. Following that curve. I put the pins in the wrong way, so I have to like take them out like backwards. I always do that. Sometimes you just forget which way you'll start, right? Oh yeah, that's looking nice and even stitching. Good. Oh, this is such a cheery top. It's so cute. I love, 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 love this fabric. If anyone's watching from Canada, I did get this fabric from Fabricville. I ordered it online like a year ago, I believe. I tend to do that. I order a fabric and I rarely sew with it right away. I add it to my wall and then I sew it later. Does anyone else do that? Or do you sew it right away? It's really, yeah, it depends for me, but most of the time I wait on it. It just, I don't know. See, got these pins I put in the wrong way. It's okay. Following that curve. We are getting so close. So this, once we set in the sleeve, we just overlap it and elasticate all the hems, and then we're done. I'm trying to guess when I'll get this done. So I've been sewing for 40 minutes. I believe it's going to take me an hour and a half. I believe it's going to take me until 30 of the next. I'll see if I can beat that time. I really don't want to go over it. I think I can do it. So, that's still such a quick sew. An hour and a half for a woven, like, wrap pretty top. Consummate stasher. She does the most fabric wins. That's funny. But, yeah. I had my mom over this weekend, and we've been going thrifting on the weekends, and I'm always getting fabric. And then she came into my studio, and she goes, "Why do you keep buying fabric? Look at all the fabric you have." I'm like, "Oh, well, there's still space. I have little spaces in between." Okay, we are looking good. So I'm just going to take this over here and just give it a final little press, so we can set this aside and until we are ready to install the sleeve. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at how nice that looks. I don't know if you can see it from there. All that nice top stitching, nice and even. The facing nice and flat, which is good. Oh yeah. I'm such an overpresser. I press everything as I go. I just want to make sure that these are pressed before I wrap them, and it'll be hard to really press these edges once it's wrapped and elasticated, right? So I'm definitely an overpresser. Okay, this is looking amazing. You could even finish it here. You could totally do a tank version. You could draft a facing to finish the armhole edges. Okay, so now, look at that. Oh, so cute. Yes, okay. Now I can put that aside, and I'm going to start on the sleeves. So I need to put some gathering stitches in the caps since these are set in sleeves. So let's see. So this pattern, it has front and a back notch for the sleeve, and I only put in the front because it confuses me. I always just put in the top notch and the front notch. I always know the front, and then I can just manipulate the back, because sewing with Berta patterns for so many years, there's only one armhole notch, and it's in the front. So if I have a front and back, I just always only mark the front notch on an armhole. It's just what I do, because I've just been used to studying in sleeves for so many years with just a front notch, and it just confuses me. So I have both of my sleeves here, and I've indicated the tape for the right side up. And so, yeah, these are opposites. I have the notches. So I'm just going to, I don't know, like 4 inches on either side of the top notch. I'm just going to do a couple rows of basting stitches. And, oh, look at all. So like this. I usually fall in love with the fabric and then enjoy thinking about the fabric possibilities. Exactly. That's like the whole fun of it, right? Oh, yeah, it does press very well. Okay, so I'm just going to have my basting stitch. I make sure I have a long red tail right here. The pattern says to do 1 row, but I like to do 2. It just gives me better control. I'm just going to do another one. I will admit, I really hate setting sleeves. I know. I always prefer almost like a gathered sleeve cap, because then it's not as like pressure to like ease in without any little puckers. But I mean, I like the way they look, and they really, I do them, of course. But there we go. I have 2 rows of that, and my other sleeve fell on the ground. See how fast I can set in these sleeves. Where's my right side up? There we go. My center notch, go like 4 so inches over. I always say too, like things in garments, like setting in a sleeve or stitching a facing, you don't always have to 100% follow the pattern's like exact instructions. Just as long as you get like the sleeve set in or a certain thing sewn, if it's not like a special detail of the pattern, just do it the way you're comfortable with. Same with an invisible zipper or any type of zipper. I just see the next pattern step, sew in sleeve, and I go, okay, I'm just gonna do it the way that I like to set in sleeves. Sometimes if a pattern says set in a sleeve, with the side seam and shoulder seam already sewn, I just do it as a continuous, where you set the sleeve seam and the side seam as one, so it's not a circular set in. Sometimes I do that, but this one is something like blousey like this and more. I don't know. I like to set in the sleeve. If it's a knit, I usually don't bother with that. Okay, so now I am going to stitch the sleeve seams right sides together, because it's easier to do those basting stitches once the oh yes, Amanda, flat sleeve talk kind of girl, me too. So just remember, now I need to go back to my regular stitch length. I had a nickel every time I put in those gathering stitches and then just continued sewing and forgetting that I have a basting stitch. I would be rich. Okay. Okay, let's go. So our sleeve seam, right sides together, and I already have them pre-serged. Go. Another thing what people do, like, I always like to do like each step, like one sleeve I sew the seam and then the other But I know some people, they'll just do one sleeve and then set it in, and then they'll go on to the next sleeve completely, start it over again. So again, it just depends on what you like to do. I like to do like each sleeve, do each step kind of at the same time. So it's like that's sewing my sleeve. I don't know. Beauty of sewing. You can just, whatever makes you happy. Okay. I realized I didn't even pin these. If I don't pin them, what I always do is like after a little bit, I always find the end and I just pinch it together, and then I bring my hand up and then I get a midpoint, and then I can kind of work from there. I rarely like pin straight seams for sure. Okay, so now I'm going to press the sleeve seam allowances open, and then I can pin them into my armhole. So I'll bring a snip just in case. And the easiest way to press these open, a roll is such an amazing pressing tool to have in your sewing studio with all your pressing stuff. It makes things so easy for enclosed seams, pressing them open. Okay, there we go. There's one. Oh, it's going to be so cute. I can't wait to sew my matching skirt too. Anyone have any suggestions for like a skirt pattern that's cut on the bias? I would love that for the bottom half of my Daisy outfit. It's my my Daisy look. This is a great traveling outfit too, because I could totally wear this top with jeans, casual in the day, and then if you're going to like a little like brunch or something, wear it with the matching skirt, or the skirt with like a sequin top to make it dressy. It's so good. Okay. So how I always set in sleeves is I turn my sleeves right side out. What I always do. And I'll start with one, and then I have my garment right side up facing me like so. So I have my underarm point and my top notch. And then I take my sleeve. I just first need to make sure that it's the right one. So this is where I locate that front notch, and I have my front notch. So this is the right sleeve, front notch, front notch. And I take it like this. This is the underarm point, and I go boop, and I put it right sides together with the side seam. So this is how I always set in sleeves. And then I take this top right side up shoulder sleeve, and I take it, and then I take my top notch, and I go like this, and that's my second pin. Like so. And then I kind of have my two landmarks, I call them. And then I always know that the wrong side are my bobbin threads, because I always do my gathering stitches with the right side up, so I know my bobbin threads are on the wrong side facing me when I'm pinning it. So I'm just going to match up my notches. So there we go. Look at that, the magic of Zoom. There we go. And then I just kind of work my way around. There we go. Cut that through. Oh yeah. There we go. So these I know are always my bobbin threads. Okay, this looks like this is going to set in well with no crazy tucks. Sometimes the good with like this nice printed fabric, if I have a little tuck in there, nobody's going to see it, except I will always know it's there and I will always hate it, but that's just me. And no one else will know. My perfectionist in sewing, it's hard to sometimes let that go for sure. I would probably redo it, but I'm just going to slowly. It's hard to let go of perfectionism sometimes in sewing. Okay, there we go. This pattern actually looks like it's going to ease in quite well without too much manipulating of that cap. Okay, so this one's ready to sew. So now I'm just going to pin the other one. Same thing. And then once these sleeves are set in, all it is the hem elastication, the casings, and that won't take long at all. So we're getting there. I'm going to finish this top in an hour and a half. How much longer do I have? Is it top the hour yet? I wonder. Race against the clock. It's just kind of fun about these sewing lives, just to kind of like see how fast and accurate I can do something without messing up. And I get to talk with everybody. I feel like I'm not alone in my sewing studio, which is so nice for me. So thank you, everyone who tunes in, if it's live or not. I just thank you. Okay. Yeah, this pattern actually, the cap eases in quite well. That's good. I like that. Match my notch. No. Oh, I realize I'm working a little bit too close to me, so you can't see it. There we go. You all know that the bobbin threads are on the wrong side, facing me. Give them a little tug. There we go. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay, so now I'm gonna sew them, and I always sew them with the sleeve facing up towards me, and I always start at the underarm point. So I always start where I put my first pin. One sleeve at a time works smell for complicated things. Oh, that's true, involving ruching and draping. Yeah, but simpler sleeves are nice to do at the same time. Totally agree. Oh, you got 7 minutes in the oven. This is fun. Oh, yes. I got it. Okay. So I'm going to start at this point right here with the sleeve up facing me. And then again, I want to always make sure that it's laying open on the bottom. Okay, there we go. First pin in. All right, set in sleeve. It's a lot more pressure here because when I sew on camera, usually it's like an edited version that you see. So sometimes I do mess up. Sometimes I say, don't show this part. Edit this part out. Not here. Okay, so this is about 5/8 too. All right, I'm just gonna see. Good angle. Here we go. Actually, this fabric's good too. This crepe has like a tiny bit of stretch widthwise, which kind of helps too. I love a woven with that just little bit of stretch to it. Not only for wearing, but for sewing. You just kind of. trying to not get my hand in the way so you guys can see. Maybe I'll need to next time get a more like top down view. I'm still working out the perfect camera angles for everything. But at least no technical difficulties this time. We're on a roll. Sewing difficulties, maybe. We're not done yet. Okay, yeah, so now I can see some gathers, but I can kind of see inside here that it's going to lay nice and flat. And then I always have the option too, like I have my bobbin threads accessible to me. So if I need some extra gathers here, I have that ability. I will have them like out. I will have them ready on standby. My bobbin threads. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, you'll see like this fabric will kind of pucker up a bit. Okay. Okay, we're getting to the top notch with no visible tucks. We're looking good. Oh, thank you for the feedback. Yeah, the candle. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. I've always thought I wanted to do like a GoPro like sewing show. Where it's just like, oh, I just have a camera on my forehead. You just are seeing everything. Okay, no tucks yet. We're good. We're in the clear. Okay, and then I have these bobbin threads too, kind of on this side. There we go. All right. And sewing sleeve, it's like I literally stop and start every maybe 2 centimeters. I always do that with sleeves. It's hard to just go unless it's like a knit like flap. Okay, I did it, everybody. I'm in the clear now. I'm past my gathering stitches. Okay, and then I end up back at the underarm. Ooh. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Yes. This is what you always want to see. Yeah, it's like the slight gathers, but not in the seam line. That means it's cupped very well. Look at that. Ta-da. Ooh, there we go. Beautiful. Okay, and now what I like to do is these are my threads now. I like to, maybe I can show you both. Yeah, so I have my 4 threads. I have my bobbin and I have my front. I don't like to just cut them. It's probably fine, but I just like to tie them in a knot. Just so they can like keep their form. So I'm just gonna tie them in just like a double knot like that, and then I trim them so it's like a little knot. Okay, one sleeve down, one to go. Okay. Ooh, I don't make it by this. Okay, so all I need to do, I need to send the other sleeve. I need to serge the sleeve allowances together. I need to make the casings of the sleeve, hem, and no, I need to cross over the front bodice, and I need to serge that, press up the casing, and thread the elastic. Okay, I can do it. I can do it. In the beginning of the series, I didn't even like put a time limit on it, but now I feel like I should. Okay, so now I'm gonna thread the other one. I haven't set in a sleeve in a long time, actually. I haven't sewn a garment with like a set in sleeve in a very long time. I've been sewing like a lot of knit things, a lot of like raglan things, a lot of pants. I've been sewing a lot of bottoms and like knit t-shirts and stuff. So I haven't set in like a woven sleeve. I don't think this is my first set in woven sleeves in my new studio. Wow. I can remember this. It will live on forever. Okay. I have my bobbin threads ready. I feel like it's actually easier with that 5/8 of an inch of seam allowance setting in a sleeve. So this has actually been going pretty well. Knock on wood. My sewing machine foot always like goes so far forward. I always think to bring it back. There we go. Hold it a little more. There we go. Here. Okay. I think we're gonna be okay. There we go. Okay, I did it. The other sleeve sewn. I see no visible tucks that I got in. It's that nice shaping that I like to see. So that is great. So I'm just going to quickly knot those gathering stitches. Okay. Trim my thread while I add it. Okay. Ooh. I have a new top by the end of today. It's going to be so. I have so much other things to sew. I probably don't have time to sew the skirt until the weekend, but I'm going to be excited. It's going to be such a cute outfit. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my back for a second. I'm going to serge all of these allowances, serge them all together. sewn in place. Okay, so let's bring it here and we can do our little debut. So now it's time to wrap it. Okay. Overlapping the front. Okay. Overlapping the front. Align, bodice. Okay. I think, how does it wrap? I think it wraps. Okay, it wraps this one. I'm looking at the image. So it looks like this one wraps over that side. So it goes like that. Oh, like, look at those beautiful. I'll zoom out again. There we go. Okay, and there's notches in the bottom here. So along the hem, there's notches, and I'm just going to align that. Pin in place, and then align. Oh, yeah, they beautifully align. So I'm going to pin these together. So I have them at the bottom. Look at how cute this is. Oh, yes, that is very cute. I like. So now I'm going to take this sewing machine and just sew along the bottom. And then I'm going to, I think I'm just going to serge around them and then press up and then stitch around, leaving an opening for the elastic. Yes, let's see. Yeah, the instructions indicate you fold it up a quarter of an inch and 3/4 of an inch, but I'm just going to serge it and press it up. It's going to have the same effect. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to take this. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Margie. Yeah, the fabric is super great. So I'm just going to stitch all these layers together. And I'm not even going to worry about doing it to a basting stitch. I'm just going to stitch it all. Stitch it all down, and the notches line up really great. We have almost 15 minutes. Do we think I can do it? I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Okay. Okay, so now the bottom is wrapped and enclosed with a basting stitch right here. And now I am going to serge all the way around it as well as my sleeve hems. And I'm going to take it to my pressing, press it up, leaving an opening, and then threading my elastic, stitching that close, and stitching the elastic close. I can do that in 16 minutes. So I'm going to turn my back just for 1 second. the last side, my serger. So now I'm just gonna go and press up my hands, and sewing gauge will come super duper handy for this. I don't need my sleeve roll anymore. Okay. So actually now I'm just gonna let's see. I know the pattern calls for 1/2 inch wide elastic. I have like 3/8 of an inch wide elastic, but I'm just wondering if I have 1 inch wide elastic too. I wonder if I just want to use that to make it even more cropped. So I'm just gonna like put this up. So I want it more cropped. I'm just gonna put a pin in there. Yeah, it says the pattern instructions say to do just like a little stitch right here to keep it together, but I'm going to hand tag it after. I'm just going to pin that. I'm just going to put this up. See, do I want it like an inch cropped or like a little cropped? I might do the thicker elastic. I have like this elastic that's like 1 inch. Actually, no. I'm just gonna do the thinner elastic. I'll press it up like 1/2 inch or 3/4, and then yeah, because I can just use this elastic. Oh, I didn't factor in time to think in my timeline. I'm just maybe gonna do the thin one. I'll just press it up 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. Ooh, now I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna make my timeline. Okay, quickly. I'm just gonna pin, press it up and pin. Okay, pressing up and pinning. Okay, my hem is pressed up, ready for the casing. And let's do my sleeve. Sometimes I feel like the sleeve's easier to press than it is. Oop, no, I had it the other way. We pressed on the wrong side. There we go. Ooh, all flustered now. Okay. I love this way of finishing a sleeve hem. To elasticate it is amazing. It's just comfy to like wear and sew. Okay, so one sleeve done. The other one, oh my gosh, this top is so cute. I have the perfect earrings to wear with this top too. I have like these yellow tassel earrings. They're super summery and cute. So I think when I photograph this, I will have to wear those. I know, now I'm like, I want to photograph it like today, but I want to wait till my skirt's done, my matching skirt. So We'll see it for next time. I'm going to work on that. Do some summer weekend sewing, my favorite. Okay, we are all good and pinned. And now we just need to leave an opening to pull the elastic through. So I'm just gonna leave like a little, maybe like an inch space. And I'm gonna start this at the side seam. So, and then again, I always like to top stitch from the right side up. I just feel like my top thread has a better looking stitch than my bobbin. So I always stitch from the right side. And so I am going to start stitching at this side seam. And I'm going to do a little, like, if you're using a top stitching thread that's like a match and a print, try doing the back stitching in the part of the fabric that it perfectly matches. So I'm finding this little green part of the fabric to do my top stitching. I mean, not my top, yeah, it's my top stitching, but my back stitching. So it's a little bit adjustable. See? You can't see it as much right there. If it was on the yellow, you would see it more. Just stop giving somebody tips and keep sewing. Make my timeline. I love sharing all my, just what I do. Okay. All right, we have 7 minutes. Okay. This is fun. Okay. So now I'm just leaving a little opening. Okay, so now on to the sleeves. Oh, you're welcome, Joseph. You are so welcome for that great tip. Okay. All right, we are. Again, I'm just like leaving a little space between here. Oh, hi, Esther from the Netherlands. That's okay. You can totally rewatch. You can, now you've seen you see how it all came together. Thanks for joining me. Thank you so much, everybody. This is always such a pleasure to do. So roughly I do this live every, like the second Tuesday of every month at noon Eastern time. So a little lunchtime sewing for me, and if you're watching in the Eastern time zone. Okay. So now all I need to do is grab some elastic And I need a safety pin. All right, we have 4 minutes. I can do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap like this around my wrist. I don't like my wrist too tight, so I'm just going to leave some allowance. So I'll just kind of like, that looks good. So I will cut it there. And then I will just like go right down like that. And boom, I have my wrist ones. And then my waist one, maybe I'll just wrap it around my waist quick. Yeah, because this one doesn't fit, I don't think, quite right at the natural waist. So I'm just going to like, kind of just want it like that. That'll be good. I can always pull it tighter. My rule is like always leave extra because you can. It's when you set it through, you just pin it, try it on, and then you adjust it from there. So actually, I'll go back up here so I can show you how to thread it through. But I'll stop going live at the bottom of the hour anyway because it's just once you thread your elastic through, you just sew those openings closed. So I'm just going to insert this into that casing and you just thread it on through. Super easy. And then sometimes I like when I get to the edge, I pin this to that side here. And it gets a little thick around this front area because we have those like overlaps and everything. Just keep threading through and pull it through. And then you do the exact same thing to your sleeve. Thread it through, close those openings, and just do a little hand tack. Or you could even sew a snap at that center front notch point. It's a little tricky to get through. There we go. And then you just thread it through, and we are all done. Oh, thank you, Esther. Yeah, this is a Zadie jumpsuit. I have sewn 4 of them. This is one of my favorite patterns. So I will be posting my finished blouse on the So Daily blog. So look out for that. And I thank you so much for tuning in. These are so fun. Again, the second Thursday on So Daily Network every month, 12 noon Eastern time. You can catch me sewing something live. It's going to be different every week. I'm going to try and do beginner-ish projects. So if you're a beginner sewer, it's great. And mainly because I want to be able to have a complete tutorial I don't want to just, I don't know. I mean, I could just do certain harder components of a garment. Thank you, Joseph. I love hearing how I talk and work it out. Yes. To be honest, even when I'm not live, I do talk to myself a lot while I'm sewing. So again, thanks for tuning in. I'm just going to keep threading these elastics through, do some hand stitching, tack. Oh, no, you don't need to tack your facings because they're top stitch. So forget about that because I don't like doing that anyways. So I'll see you next month, and thanks for tuning in. And bye, everybody. Can't wait to share my finished whole look with a matching skirt, too.